Yes.
Hey, what do you mean by a self-paced course?
Well, the course material is available in the form of video lectures. And there are multiple practice problems that come along as well. So, you can access all of it anywhere, anytime. And they are available to you for lifetime.
No way.
Oh, yes, way. Don't delay and enroll now.
Geeks learning together.
Hey everyone, how are you? This side Akshay Bhaskar from GeeksforGeeks and today we have an interesting topic. Problem solving के ऊपर आज हम लोग बात करने वाले हैं. So I can see already 32 people are live. So let's greet each other. Let's say hi, hello, and then we can move on and I'll tell you more about the guests who we are inviting. So Shyam is saying he is excited to hear. Thank you so much, Shyam. I hope this session brings some value. Karthik is saying, Didi, problem solving skills में maths, calculus, trigonometry compulsory है क्या? All right, we'll talk about it. Ultra. Thank you. All right. Hello. So many highs, hellos coming up. I'm feeling really nice. Hi, Aditya. Hi, Kiran. Hi, Achusman. Hi, Pushpendu. I'm reading each and every comment, but मैं सबको shout out नहीं दे सकता, guys. But उतने ही grateful हूँ मैं जो भी लोग अभी join करे हैं ना. So thank you so much. चलो ठीक है. Good afternoon, Govind. I can see that people have come and 64 people are there. So I'll tell you a bit about this thing, the guest who we are inviting. So today the topic is importance of problem solving. We'll talk about that. And we are inviting Aritri Paul, who is from Jalpaiguri Government Engineering College, West Bengal. She is presently working as a problem setter intern at Geeks for Geeks, and she also has a SDA internship at Amazon coming her way in the future. So it's pretty interesting, and let's invite her and let's talk more about it. The topic. Hey Aritri, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. आप greet कर सकते हो audience को. 69 people live हैं अभी, and then we
Hi,
can
hello.
start. All right. So I can see that already few questions are coming up, but we'll tackle the questions later in the webinar. So right now, okay, I told them about you thoda sa, but let's start with you giving a brief introduction about yourself. Aditi.
Okay. So, hello everyone. I am Aritri Paul and I am presently pursuing my BTech in CSE and I am in the third year of my undergraduation. So, before entering college, I already had a computer science background. I was familiar with programming and I used to code in mostly two languages, C and Java. So after entering college, I started I mainly focused on my improving and building my problem solving skills and focusing more on my DSA and core subjects. So in the
Okay.
beginning of the first year, I started with competitive programming. I started with CodeChef and CodeForces at various different sites. And then at the end of second year, I did a research internship from IIT Madras, which was based on networking. So that was a very different, new, and very enriching experience. Like that was something very different. I had never previously done that before. So
Hmm.
that was new. And presently, I am interning, as you said, I am interning with Geeks for Geeks as a problem setter intern. So I code, I create and test problems here.
Okay.
And up next in summer, I have an SD internship offer from Amazon. So
That's
that's it.
great. Aritri, I would really love to know more about the role you have here at Geeks for Geeks because that sounds a really different profile problem setter, right? So,
Yeah.
can you also tell a bit about that? Because I really want to understand what you exactly do so that, we'll get some more idea.
Yeah, sure. So
Hmm.
what I do is I create problems for some contest or maybe some article that we are publishing or some sheet.
Okay.
So I create problems, and if there are existing problems, then I test some problems. Then we are here at Geeks for Geeks. We are trying to maintain a specific format. So I edit
Okay.
questions and I test problems which are already there. So
Okay.
that's.
All right. Okay. Got some idea. Okay. So, let's move on to the next question. What is problem solving and why is it important in your career, keeping career in mind?
Yeah, so we are all of us have heard that problem solving is a very important aspect of computer science or programming. So what is it basically? So problem solving is like identifying a problem, finding an efficient solution, and implementing the solution. So this is the entire idea of problem solving. So as a programmer, like first what I would like to suggest is you need to really identify the problem first, because without understanding the problem itself, you'll never be able to reach to the solution. So understanding the problem is very important and not directly jumping to the solution. So as a programmer, you must first think like how would you solve the problem as a human, and then translate that particular algorithm to something that a computer would do, and then write code and syntax specific and error free codes to implement that. So basically, you identify the solution, you design an algorithm to solve it, and finally implement that algorithm to develop a computer program. So this is the idea of problem solving. Now, why is it important? So apart from being an important skill to possess for like day-to-day activities, it's a very important, like it forms the base of the IT industry. Now, what I mean when I say it forms the base of the IT industry is like, for example, you don't want to cook a meal, or you don't want to like go outside. So what do we do now? We order from Zomato or Swiggy or some online food ordering app. Or else if it's about something about shopping, we go to Amazon, Myntra, something like that. So why were these applications designed in the first place? So there were these problems that we don't want to go out, or these real life problems were solved by these applications. So ultimately, the industry is based, like the foundation of the entire IT sector is problem solving, and hence the hiring process of these companies mainly revolve around this problem solving skills. Like they test the problem solving skills of these candidates. So it's very important to have this, because the hiring process mainly revolves around this, be it the coding assessment or the interview. So everywhere they'll test this. You may be able to code in multiple languages or implement an existing algorithm. But apart from these, what an employer would look for in a candidate would definitely be real-time problem-solving skills. For instance, you'll encounter, for example, in an interview, you encounter a problem which you haven't previously seen, but still you're expected to solve it there and then, or at least approach it. So, or maybe if you're given a standard question, you give the existing solution. So the interviewer might like modify the question a bit or ask you to improve your solutions. So this is where your problem solving skill comes in. So, and you have to be pretty decent with it to like get hired or enter the IT sector in general. So that
Okay.
definitely it's very important.
That makes so much sense because even in other areas of life, if this skill is, you can
Yeah,
apply this skill in your career, you can also, get things, so many things done in other aspects of your life. So
definitely,
this is
yes.
really amazing, and we should do something or the other, whether it's like experiencing new things, or maybe studying new things, or challenging your mind. But you should always hone this skill, as you said.
Yes,
So,
definitely.
all right, so let's come back to something which is very related to the students and the working professionals who are working at right now. What is the importance of DSA exactly? Like how much importance do you give to the this aspect, DSA,
Yes. So
data
data
structure?
structures is like it's the building block of software engineering. We all know that it's the tool that we use to store and manage data efficiently. And the IT sector deals with like huge amount of data every day. So as a programmer, you must be able to store and manage this data efficiently. So like what I want to say is that you must know that where you should use an array, where you should use a linked list, or where you should use a tree or a graph. So this choice of using the appropriate data structure is very important. Like for example, there are a set of 10 numbers, and you want to find if a particular number is present in that set or not. Now you have two options. You can either store that set of 10 numbers in an array or in a linked list. Now, I would prefer storing that those 10 numbers in an array, because I know that there are 10 numbers, so I know the size of the array, and I will not use a linked list, since linked list will require extra memory to store the address of the next pointer. So there are a lot of parameters to judge which is a efficient data structure, and which is like where to use which data structure. And for that, I think you should really have a very good grasp in this concept, because otherwise you won't be able to judge it. And as for like this was particularly about data structures, and as for algorithms, what are algorithms? They are like step by step procedures for solving a particular problem. So I'll take the previous example. Like there, I used an array. So basically, I want to find out if the particular element is present in the array or not. So there are different techniques to search an element in the array. Like two famous searching techniques are linear and binary search. So which searching technique will I use here? Which algorithm will I use here? So again, the efficiency of the algorithm comes in. Like there are two techniques. So to solve a problem, there can be multiple ways, right? So you can from going from point A to point B, there are n number of paths. But which one would you prefer? Obviously, the shortest one, the most efficient one. So that is where it's the same case for algorithms. You'll always prefer the most efficient one. And to judge which one is efficient and which one isn't, you'll have to like know the entire thing very clearly. Like for linear search, for example, what you'll do is you'll traverse the entire array and you'll check if that element matches with every element or not. So this you have traversed the entire array and the time complexity is O of n. And for the binary search, you will first divide the array into two halves and you'll compare with the middle element every time. So this complexity goes to O of log n. But a binary search has a limitation that the array must be sorted. So that's what I'm saying, that you have to like at one instance, anyone can say that binary search is better because of it takes lesser time. But then there is a limitation that the array must be sorted. So you have to be like very clear. You have to know everything about the algorithm and the data structure that you're using to judge or like use the most efficient one.
Okay. Okay. So, all right. If we're talking about this, so how to get started with or improve problem solving skills and DSA as well, like DSA को on करना है, pathway क्या है, resources क्या है हम जो use करें.
Yeah. So, personally speaking, I started with competitive programming to improve my problem solving skills. So, I started with CodeShift and then I gradually shifted to CodeForces. Now, there are a lot of other platforms for competitive programming, but I would personally recommend CodeForces to a lot of people because they conduct short contests, and I think that develops your speed. And speed or time in problem solving is a very crucial aspect I think everybody should look into. So yes, and if anybody is just getting started with or just coding for the first time, then I think CodeShift is pretty good too. They provide a long challenge of 10 days. So they basically give you time to learn the concept and then implement what you have learned. So it's a good platform for learning. But I think once you are acquainted with coding, I think you should shift to shorter contests and on CodeForces
Okay.
or somewhere else.
Okay, so
And as for
contest is one thing, but other resources, anything else? Like contest is
yeah,
one.
contest basically if you are taking part in contest that improves your speed, like that's the only thing that is done. And for concepts and for DSA, I think JFG is great because it has a lot of material. It literally has everything regarding DSA, so you can learn the concepts here and you can practice them on the portal itself. Now, so DSA is a huge topic, right? So it's huge and a lot of material is already present. So how do you filter questions or how do you filter your learning process? So what I personally did was I started with the basic DS topics like arrays, linked lists, tags, queues, and then I moved on to the like advanced ones, binary trees, or BSTs, graphs, etc. So pick a topic each day, learn the concept, and learn it very thoroughly. Like don't move on to the next topic until you have done that. So just learn that concept properly and directly start solving questions. Like I would recommend that because the more questions you solve, the more loopholes you find in your understanding of the concept. So just keep on practicing questions on like Geeks for Geeks has a lot of questions. So just keep practicing questions and like practice every day. Be consistent. Like pick a set of questions and practice every day. But after you have learned the concept or the topic very clearly. So yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, like, how did these two, problem solving and DSA, help you bag an internship offer at Amazon? And in this question, also, please cover how did you get the opportunity at Geeks for Geeks? Because somebody was asking in the comment section. Let's
Okay.
do that. Yeah.
So yeah, so I like to like highlight the hiring process of Amazon that I went through. So firstly, I went through an online assessment which consisted of four sections. So the first one was a code debugging section. The second was an coding assessment. Third part was the logical ability and aptitude test, and the last part was a work style assessment section. So in the debugging section, what you're supposed to do is you're given a code snippet and you have to find out the errors in it. Now the errors might be syntactical or logical. So since the errors might be logical too, this is where again your problem solving skills come in, because it might not be a standard code snippet, like you may have never seen that question before, so you have to solve it there and then, you have to find the error there and then. So that is where it helps you. Next is the coding assessment. So coding assessment, I was given two questions and I was to solve them in 70 minutes.
Hmm.
So there again, data structures, obviously you have to have a good grasp of data structures. And that is the thing. What I wanted to say about the time constraint in problem solving was this, that you might be able to solve those two questions in 2 days, but that's of no use. You have to solve it in 70 minutes. So speed is a very important factor that you should work upon. So there, speed matters. After that, the logical aptitude and the Bostel assessment, they were pretty basic. And then the next thing was the interview. So in the interview, apart from talking about my projects or other stuff, mainly it revolved around coding. Okay, because they basically wanted to know if I had a thorough knowledge of DSA, or
Hmm.
my concepts were clear or not. And one thing that I would like to add here is just be very confident in any interview that you are appearing, because the interview will tend to confuse you a lot. They will always say the opposite thing so that you just deviate from your point. But you have to be very confident, and that confidence will only come if you just practice and you have very clear concepts of DSA or problem solving, anything for that matter. So confidence is very important, and other than that, obviously you have to have a very good knowledge of DSA for clearing these interviews. And it's the same thing for Geeks as well. I went through an interview which was purely based on DS algo. So definitely data structures and problem solving that we know is one of the most important aspects. It definitely is. At least till now, I have encountered that. So that's what I like to say, that these are really very important for your like career in general.
Okay, and coming to the opportunity which you are currently pursuing at GeeksforGeeks, वो कैसे हुआ?
वो तो like I had applied on the career site and then I received a call. So then I
Okay,
went through an interview and
but how did you know how did your mindset became like this कि problem solving को तुम जैसे देख रहे हो, है ना? तभी
Mhm.
ये प्रॉब्लम सेटर की ये प्रोफाइल भी है, क्योंकि जनरली इतना ऐसे आई हैव हर्ड दिस फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम. So that's why I was thinking that when did you realize that okay, I'll identify myself more as a problem solver rather than a marketer or coder or something. But वो fundamental वाली identity कैसे तुमने कैसे
हाँ,
बनाई?
बेसिकली 11 12 से ही मेरी कोडिंग की बैकग्राउंड थी. सो आई ऑलवेज वाज वेरी इंटरेस्टेड इन कोडिंग. और फिर 11 12 के बाद कॉलेज में भी आई वाज लाइक मोस्टली इनटू कोडिंग. फिर बीच में आई, एज आई मेंशन बिफोर, दैट आई like went for a research intern in a core subject like networking. So but still after that I realized like coding is the thing that I would like to pursue further. And for problem setter intern, like I will definitely say like you should try everything, whatever is like coming your way. So it's not like कि एकदम problem setter intern ही करना था, ऐसा कुछ नहीं था. पर हाँ, कोडिंग रिलेटेड करना था. एंड ऑब्वियसली अच्छी चीज़ है, बहुत अच्छी चीज़ है. आई गॉट सो मच लाइक इतना सारा नॉलेज मिला. टेस्ट केस जनरेशन कैसे होता है, फिर हाउ डू यू टेस्ट प्रॉब्लम्स, कहीं पे कुछ प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है तो व्हाट वे मतलब कौन से टेस्ट केस पे जाके चेक करना है या क्या करना है. सो बहुत चीज़ों के बारे में आइडिया हुआ. एंड डेफिनेटली वही बोल रही हूँ कि इफ़ यू लर्न लाइक इफ़ यू गो इन टू एवरी फील्ड यू लर्न समथिंग और दी अदर. सो यही बात है कि सब चीज़ का तो लेना ही था एक एक्सपीरियंस. सो ऐसा नहीं था कि प्रॉब्लम सेटर ही करना है ऐसा.
तो अभी अभी कमेंट में जैसे पहले तो ये बहुत सही बोला आपने. मैं सॉरी मतलब ये एक्नॉलेज करना चाहता हूँ यहाँ पे कि ऐसे ही होना चाहिए. और साथ में आई एम श्योर कि बहुत सारे व्यूअर्स को इससे वैल्यू पक्का मिली होगी. एंड somebody इज आस्किंग कैन यू आंसर माय क्वेश्चन, समरूप इज आस्किंग, सो वील डू दैट. अभी ये इसके बाद एक लास्ट क्वेश्चन है, देन हम Q&A सेशन पे जाएंगे और उसमें फिर
ओके.
क्वेश्चन वो करेंगे लोगों का. तो समरूप योर क्वेश्चन विल बी answered. And there's one person, ultra confidence information. I'm so happy that he's or she is engaging very well with us. So thank you so much for that. All right. So chalo, let's move on to the next question. Advice you would like to share. कुछ एडवाइस जो इन जनरल आप देना चाहते हो या फिर कुछ स्पेसिफिक भी हो सकती है, प्लीज.
इन जनरल तो सबसे पहली बात जस्ट कीप प्रैक्टिसिंग, बिकॉज कोई शॉर्टकट नहीं है इस चीज का. यू जस्ट हैव टू प्रैक्टिस एंड वर्क हार्ड फॉर दिस. जब तक प्रैक्टिस नहीं करोगे यू विल नॉट अंडरस्टैंड लाइक कहाँ पे वेर यू आर लैकिंग, वेर योर कॉन्सेप्ट्स आर नॉट वेरी स्ट्रांग. where you need to work upon. So practice is definitely very important. And specifically speaking, I think like specifically agar bolu for DSA, I have one advice for everybody. When you are learning a concept or you're preparing a topic and you're going to the questions, don't think about it for like 5 to 10 minutes. If you can't do it, and just see the code and do it. Don't do it, like absolutely don't do it. That's a very harmful thing to do, because just read the question, keep the question in the back of your mind, think about it for the entire day, do other stuff, but think about it a little bit. And even if you can't do it, just read the approach section in like the article of the problem. Read the approach section and don't directly go to the code. Read the approach section, code it yourself, and then if you face some problems, the code is already there. Because if you are directly going for the code, and that's basically mugging up solutions, you'll never develop the thinking ability. Because if in an interview, if you encounter a problem which is new, you don't know about it, you'll not be able to, like, you don't know how to approach the problem if you don't think these problems, right? It's like if you get a known problem, you can do it, otherwise you can't. So this developing this thinking ability is very important. So for that, I think you should give a lot of time behind one problem and finally give up. If you can't think of anything, just read the approach and then move on to the code. And other than this, in general, as I said, practice. Like there's nothing that can beat practice in this. And do honest work. Like don't fool yourself. Code dekh liya, chap liya, ho gaya. Nahin. So don't fool yourself and practice honestly. I think like that's more than enough.
Okay. All right, Aritri, thank you so much for answering our questions. Now, there's a segment where we'll wait for 30-40 seconds so that people can put in their questions in the comment section, and then we'll go through them and we'll select randomly 3 or 4 questions and we'll talk about it. Okay, you can
Okay,
also
sure.
go through the comment section. So that,
Yeah, right.
right? All right. So there are some questions. You can scroll up also. All right. Hmm. So everyone, please put in your questions, whatever you want to ask.
Okay, so there's this one question.
Hmm.
See, I like DSA and I'm focusing a lot in DSA, but for
Hmm.
development, I like machine learning, deep learning, but I hate web development things like databases, Node.js, and other things. So, what should
Hmm.
I do? Okay,
Okay.
so as for this, personally speaking, while I applied for Amazon at the end of second year, I had no idea about development. So it's not necessary that you have to have a development project, okay? But DSA is really important. You have to focus on DSA, and you said you are focusing a lot on DSA. And for development, if you like machine learning, just go ahead with machine learning, because it's not necessary to, you have to do web development or you have to do Android app development for appearing for any product based company. You must do something of your own, like anything you have done on your own. That's what I said at the end. Like you have to do honest work. Anything that you have done on your own would help you, like be it in any field. But DSA is definitely the most important thing.
All right, all right. So next question, I would really like to pin one thing. ये थोड़ा सा generic है, but मैं इस question को उठा लेता हूँ. हमारे पास time है, so don't worry. The question is, Three Idiots movie had been the biggest distraction and excuse for my life. Whenever I couldn't solve issues, I gave myself excuse of not passionate in coding. These movies harming young brains. Agree. So I would like to add one thing. कि वो मूवी है ना, उसमें
Right.
से कुछ भी निकल के आ सकता है, तुम कुछ भी परसीव कर सकते हो, कंक्लूड कर सकते हो, rather than debating कि वो मूवी खराब है, ये खराब है, वो खराब है. Just see what you want, bring clarity in what you want out of life and just go after it. So मैं यही
Right.
कहूँगा यहाँ पे कि ये पॉइंट फिंगर्स, हाँ ऑब्वियसली वो हार्म किया होगा, बट अब हो गया ना वो, तो अब क्या क्लैरिटी. सो सी, तो मेरे को ये बोलना था थोड़ा सा. आप इसमें कुछ ऐड करना चाहते हो रितु? मुझे सही में ऐड करना.
नहीं, सही है, मतलब वही अल्टीमेटली अपने पे ध्यान देना है. लाइक इट्स ऑल अबाउट योर सेल्फ. मतलब इट्स अबाउट हाउ यू परसीव इट ना. तो फिर इफ यू वांट टू परसीव द गुड पार्ट ऑफ इट, यू विल परसीव द गुड पार्ट ऑफ इट. एंड इफ यू वांट टू डू द टेक द बैड पार्ट ऑफ इट, यू विल डू दैट. सो
या
हमेशा अच्छा लेना चाहिए हर चीज से. तो फिर आई विल
और
सजेस्ट कि अच्छा पार्ट लो, और ऐसे एक्सक्यूजेस मत बनाओ कि
हाँ, और जो
नहीं.
भी कर रहे हो पैशनेटली करो, जो भी कर रहे हो. जरूरी नहीं है
बिल्कुल
कि
बिल्कुल.
तुम ऐसे सोचो, ऐसे कभी भी नहीं होता मेरे हिसाब से. तुम एक दिन तुम सोचते हो और कहते हो मेरा ये पैशन है, तो ये तुम करते रहते हो चीजें पैशनेटली और तुम्हें समझ में आ जाता है तुम्हें क्या आता है क्या नहीं आता, तो वो तुम्हारा
वही
पैशन बन
बात
जाता
है, लाइक यू शुड टेक फ्लेवर ऑफ एवरीथिंग। जैसे मैं बोल रही थी कि मुझे नहीं पता
है।
कि प्रॉब्लम सेटर ही करना था, हर चीज का थोड़ा थोड़ा फ्लेवर लो, लाइक यू हैव टाइम राइट, अभी तो बस मतलब टेक फ्लेवर ऑफ
हाँ,
एवरीथिंग, फिर डिसाइड करो कि क्या करना है। तो
एग्जैक्टली
अभी सब
एग्जैक्टली। हाँ,
ये
अभी
सब
ये सब चीजें मत सोचो वैसे। ठीक है, तो ये मेरे को बात करनी थी। एक नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन आप बताओ, लेट्स गो थ्रू द सेक्शन अगेन।
should we do DSA simultaneously with CP or first DSA completely? Pranay Kumar has asked this question.
ओके,
So,
आई फाइंड इट।
hmm.
ओके, या
सो डीएसए और सीपी, लाइक सीपी करने में तुमको डीएसए लगेगा, ठीक है, ऐसा नहीं कि तुम एकदम विदाउट एरेज और लिंक लिस्ट का नॉलेज लेके या फिर स्टैक्स क्यूज छोड़ के यू स्टार्टिंग विद सीपी। सो बेसिक नॉलेज से स्टार्ट करो, सीपी करना स्टार्ट करो, जैसे जैसे प्रॉब्लम करोगे यू विल एनकाउंटर थिंग्स कि मुझे वेक्टर नहीं आता या फिर मुझे ये नहीं आता, सो दैट इज वेयर यू लर्न दैट पर्टिकुलर कॉन्सेप्ट। तो साइमल्टेनियसली करो, बट ऐसा नहीं है कि नहीं आता है बिल्कुल भी, तो थोड़ा सा डीएसए का बेसिक सीख लो, एरेज वगैरह सीख लो, एंड देन स्टार्ट विद कॉम्पिटिटिव प्रोग्रामिंग, एंड उसके बाद वट एवर यू आर लैकिंग फाइंड इट आउट एंड देन साइमल्टेनियसली डीएसए और सीपी करो, लाइक दैट्स माय सजेशन।
ठीक है, ठीक है। अभी हम और करते हैं क्वेश्चंस, मतलब हम आराम से 3-4 और उठा सकते हैं। वी हैव
हाँ
10 मिनट्स विद अस, सो इट्स गुड। बहुत क्वेश्चंस आ भी रहे हैं। लाइफ में कुछ धमाका करना था, डीएसए सफिशिएंट। ये थोड़ा सा सब्जेक्टिव लैंग्वेज है धमाका, तो समझ नहीं आया।
ओके, एक जन ने पूछा है हाउ डू आई लर्न डेटा स्ट्रक्चर्स एंड एल्गोरिथम्स एज अ बिगिनर, सजेस्ट एनी रिसोर्सेज फॉर मास्टरिंग। सो मैंने रिसोर्सेज तो पहले ही बता दिया, सी गीक्स फॉर गीक्स में सब है, लिटरली फ्रॉम बेसिक्स टू लाइक एडवांस, यू हैव एवरीथिंग। सो वही मैंने बोला, जस्ट गो स्टार्ट विद द बेसिक डेटा स्ट्रक्चर्स, हर दिन एक टॉपिक उठाओ एंड देन उस पहले उस कॉन्सेप्ट को समझो एंड देन कंटिन्यू टू लाइक स्टार्ट सॉल्विंग प्रॉब्लम्स। और उसके बाद मास्टरिंग तो है ही कि मतलब जितना कर रहे हो उससे आगे जाते जाओ, लाइक बेसिक हो गया तो एडवांस जाओ, ट्रीज हो गया, ग्राफ्स हो गया तो ट्राई जाओ, सो देयर इज नो एंड, तुम मास्टर तो कर ही सकते हो, पर स्टार्ट करने के लिए गीक्स फॉर गीक्स इज ग्रेट। तो
ठीक है,
एक टॉपिक लो और प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करना स्टार्ट करो, लाइक
ओके। एक एक ये वाला, ये क्या, ये देखना। हाउ टू हैंडल द डिप्रेशन व्हेन वी आर नॉट एबल टू सॉल्व प्रॉब्लम। प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व नहीं हो रही, डिप्रेशन हो जाएगा? नहीं यार, ऐसे क्यों सोचते हैं लोग? तुम करते रहो ना,
हाँ
सीखते रहो।
राइट,
बताओ
लाइक
यार
डिमोटिवेशन है, लाइक फ्रस्ट्रेशन आती है, आई अंडरस्टैंड, मैं खुद ही लाइक मैंने सीपी छोड़ दिया था, ऐसी फ्रस्ट्रेशन आई थी, बट देन एक बात समझो कि तुम्हारे इस फ्रस्ट्रेशन से सिर्फ तुम्हें ही लाइक बाकियों को देख के ना डोंट बी अफेक्टेड, बिकॉज दे आर डूइंग
हाँ,
देयर बेस्ट, आगे जा रहे हैं, तुम्हारा
कंपेयर
ही
मत
बस हाँ
करो।
जा रहा है, तो that is
कंपैरिजन।
not helping you. So don't like hamper your progress because of someone else's improvements, right?
ये
उससे तुम्हारा कोई फायदा नहीं, तुम्हारे साथ ही बुरा होगा। और नहीं हो रहा है प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व तो करो, लाइक प्रैक्टिस करो, कितना देर नहीं होगा, करते रहो, कभी ना कभी तो हो ही जाएगा।
तो अगर मान लो कि ठीक है, नहीं हो रही प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व, किसी रीजन से नहीं हो रही, ठीक है, तो इसके अराउंड लाइफ को लेके कंक्लूजन तो हमें नहीं बनाना चाहिए ना। हमारी
नहीं
लाइफ में
बिल्कुल,
हमें कितनी सारी चीजें और हैं, और कंपेयर हम कर नहीं सकते किसी को अपने आप से, क्योंकि हमने जो एक्सपीरियंस किया है वो यूनिक होता है, वो ऐसा नहीं होता कि किसी और ने किया। बट मतलब मैं शुरू से कह रहा हूँ, तो मैं बस इतना कह रहा हूँ कि कंपेयर नहीं करना चाहिए, और इतने स्ट्रॉन्ग वर्ड मत यूज करो, बस थोड़ा रिलैक्स करके थोड़ा जॉयफुली चीजों को करते रहो, कहीं ना कहीं सबके लिए स्पेस है और अच्छा होगा।
हाँ, और एक बात ये मैं सीपी लेके भी बोलना चाहती हूँ, लाइक कॉम्पिटिटिव प्रोग्रामिंग लेके सबको ये नोशन है कि लाइक करोगे तो यू विल लैंड अप अ जॉब, नहीं करोगे तो विल नॉट लैंड अप अ जॉब, एकदम नॉट एट ऑल लाइक दैट। जैसे आपने बोला अक्षय कि प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग को ऐसे सिर्फ करियर हिसाब से नहीं, इन जनरल भी हमें सीखना चाहिए, है ना? तो
बिल्कुल।
फिर सीपी का भी वही है, लाइक यू स्टार्ट मतलब ऐसे हॉबी जैसे मजे में करो, लाइक स्पोर्ट जैसे लो
हम्म,
उसको, ऐसे
हम्म।
एकदम नहीं कि नहीं हो रहा है तो बाप रे दुनिया खत्म, बिल्कुल नहीं। तो ऐसे मस्ती में करो, उसके बाद तो उससे जो सीखने मिल रहा है दैट्स अ बोनस, तो ऐसे
सही में।
चिल में करो, इतना इतना सीरियस होके आई डोंट थिंक दैट विल हेल्प यू, पर
वो
डीएसए सीरियस होके करो बिकॉज वो दैट इज रियली इम्पोर्टेंट।
अगर हो भी जाएगा तो उसमें मजा तो आया ही नहीं ना। आप अच्छी चीज क्यों करना चाहते हो, लाइफ अच्छी रहे, तो
सही
पॉइंट
सही
क्या है?
बात,
तो
सही बात।
एनीवेज, और भी बहुत क्वेश्चंस आ रहे हैं, और क्वेश्चंस तो अटेंड करते हैं, दो और कर सकते हैं। थोड़ा मेरे को बता देना कौन सा क्वेश्चन है और क्या है, मैं ढूंढ के ना पिन कर दूंगा, तो पिछली बार हो नहीं पाया।
Okay, Harshit Mishra has asked, please tell us
अर्षित,
how to manage college, exam, assignment, and programming side by side. ठीक है, तो दिस इज अ वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग क्वेश्चन. सो
ठीक है।
मैं ऐसे डायरेक्टली नहीं बोलूंगी कि कॉलेज पे ध्यान मत दो. ऑब्वियसली दो, कोर
हाँ,
सब्जेक्ट्स भी इंपॉर्टेंट है, बट
हाँ,
देन प्रोग्रामिंग साइड बाय साइड, मतलब दिन 24 आवर्स में 2 घंटा यू कैन आराम से यू कैन स्पेयर, राइट? 2 घंटा हर दिन प्रैक्टिस करोगे तो आई थिंक इट्स मोर देन एनफ. तो इसमें मतलब आई डोंट थिंक इट मस्ट बी एन इशू कि कॉलेज और पढ़ाई नहीं मैनेज हो रही है प्रोग्रामिंग के साथ. बिल्कुल नहीं, कॉलेज को अपने जैसे चलने दो एंड हर
कॉलेज
दिन
में
अपने.
पढ़ाई होती है क्या? आई वाज इन एनएसआईटी, मैं 2014
वही
का
मैं बोल रही थी कि मैं डायरेक्टली कुछ नहीं बोल रही हूँ.
मैं अपने कॉलेज में एनएसआईटी में मिड सेम से पहले 1 हफ्ता ढंग से पढ़ता था और एंड सेम से पहले 2 हफ्ता पढ़ता था, ये मुझे याद है। तो बाकी तो हो गया, मतलब मैं ये नहीं कह रहा कम पढ़ो, मैं बस ये कह रहा हूँ कि ऐसा नहीं है कॉलेज की पढ़ाई की कुछ और नहीं कर सकते, ये तो पक्का है।
हाँ, और ऐसा तो बिल्कुल भी नहीं है कि मतलब 2 घंटा दिन में नहीं दे सकते हो. 2 घंटा तो आराम से दे सकते हो. एक कॉन्टेस्ट ज्यादा से ज्यादा 2 या मतलब 2.5 आवर्स का होता है, और अगर कॉन्टेस्ट नहीं भी है, खुद से भी पढ़ रहे हो या कुछ और कर रहे हो तो ठीक है. उतना मतलब नहीं है कि मैनेज नहीं कर पाएंगे पढ़ाई के
पर ही
इसके पढ़ाई.
लोग अच्छी जॉब लग जाएगी, फिर सब कुछ बहुत सही सही, लाइक काफी चीजें सही हो जाती है। Anyways, ये Shyam is asking something. Can we talk about this now? He's saying now I am in final year, electronic and telecommunications branch. Which subject should I learn, or अरे, which subject should I learn, or which programming language should I be prepared for? तो इसके बारे में बात कर लें।
हाँ हाँ. तो सॉफ्टवेयर फील्ड के लिए तो एक ही बात मैं तब से बोल रही हूँ, डीएसए सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट है डेफिनेटली. तो उसके अलावा तो आई डोंट, मतलब वही मेन चीज है वो डीएसए. इफ यू तुमको एक बार डीएसए में इफ यू आर वेल एक्वेंटेड विद ना, यू कैन इजिली सॉल्व प्रॉब्लम्स अपने आप से. एंड हाउ मेनी प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेज, दैट इज नॉट एट ऑल लाइक एकदम ही कोई इंपॉर्टेंस नहीं है कितने प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेज तुमको आते हैं. तुमको अगर एक भी आता है दैट इज मोर देन लाइक एनफ. एक भी किसी प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेज में डीएसए सीख लो, एंड देन बाकी तो मतलब एक लैंग्वेज आती है तो सिंटैक्स स्विच करने में ज्यादा टाइम नहीं लगेगा. लॉजिक बिल्डिंग सीखना है, प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग सीखना है, बाकी सिंटैक्स चेंज करने में डजंट टेक टाइम. तो कोई एक भी लैंग्वेज कर लो तो इट्स फाइन.
ठीक है, और ये मैं पिन करके बोल रहा हूँ ये वाली चीज, हर्षित भाई, कॉलेज में पढ़ाई होती है क्या मत पकड़ सिर्फ, मैंने यही बोला, मेरे एक्सपीरियंस में मेरा ये हुआ था, कॉलेज में पढ़ाई होती है, कॉलेज बहुत अच्छे होते हैं। तो मैंने पिन करके बोला हर्षित भाई। चलो एनीवेज, ठीक है यार, एक क्वेश्चन मैंने देखा था कि ये बहुत बेसिक क्वेश्चन है, बट ये मुझे लगता है आप बता दो, व्हाट एग्जैक्टली इज कॉम्पिटिटिव प्रोग्रामिंग एंड वेयर टू स्टार्ट।
हाँ, तो कॉम्पिटिटिव प्रोग्रामिंग मैं जैसे बोली, वो क्या होता है, तुमको एक गिवन टाइम पीरियड दिया रहता है. लाइक यू आर गिवन 2 आवर्स एंड यू आर गिवन 4 to 5 प्रॉब्लम्स. तुमको उन 2 घंटे में उन 4 से 5 प्रॉब्लम को सॉल्व करनी है. सो कॉम्पिटिटिव प्रोग्रामिंग कॉम्पिटिटिव है इसलिए, मतलब कॉम्पिटिशन है इसमें बहुत ज्यादा. लाइक यू आर रैंक्ड ऑन द, तुम कब सॉल्व कर रहे हो उस बेसिस से तुमको रैंक दी जाती है. तुम्हारे सबमिशन सही है गलत है पेनल्टी होती है. तो बेसिकली वही मैं बोलती हूँ, एक स्पोर्ट टाइप है, एक कंपटीशन रहता है वहाँ पे कि यू आर रैंक्ड ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ कब सॉल्व किया, कितना जल्दी सॉल्व किया, उस हिसाब से यू आर रैंक्ड. एंड वेयर टू स्टार्ट, जैसे एकदम ही बिगनर मतलब कोडिंग बिल्कुल नहीं आती है तो पहले तो थोड़ा सा डीएसए सीखो, एरे क्या होता है, लूप्स क्या होता है, ये सब बेसिक एकदम सीख लो. फिर कोड शेफ से स्टार्ट करो कि कोड शेफ में ऐसे 10 days लॉन्ग चैलेंज होता है. उसमें क्वेश्चन पढ़ा, कुछ समझ में नहीं आया या फिर एटलीस्ट समझ में आया कि क्या होता है, तो उसका जो कॉन्सेप्ट है उसको पढ़ा, ठीक है, फिर उसको अप्लाई इम्प्लीमेंट किया उधर. एंड अगर पहले से थोड़ी बहुत कोडिंग आती है तो फिर डायरेक्टली स्टार्ट विद कोड फोर्सेस. वहाँ पे शॉर्ट कॉन्टेस्ट होते हैं 2 घंटे के, तो यू कैन स्टार्ट विद दैट.
Alright, so Aritri, I am getting some comments कि वो language अभी अभी हम English, let's switch to English now. Let's
Okay,
take
okay,
it.
sure.
Well, there are few people who are joining from South, so I just realized
Yeah,
that's fine. That's
definitely.
fine. Thank you, Ramesh, for putting in your comment, and we'll definitely take care about it. Thank you so much. Anyways, so where to start competitive programming, Aritri? Please tell us.
हाँ, तो वही मैंने बोला कि
English.
सॉरी
English.
इंग्लिश. So you can start with CodeChef if you are an absolute beginner, and if you have a little bit knowledge about coding, then you can directly start with code courses. Like I suggest you should like focus more on short contests, because in the hiring processes you'll be given 60 to 70 minutes to solve 2 problems, and
Okay.
like CodeChef long challenge gives you 10 days to solve 6 or 7 problems. So that will not help you, but that will help you build concepts. So if you're a beginner, I think long challenges are good. And if you're a bit acquainted with coding, you should go for short contests.
Okay, okay. So, all right. We covered around 4 or 5 questions today, right? Let's pick up
Yeah.
one last. All right,
Okay.
last one.
Okay, there's this question by Bright Future. But
Bright
what
future.
in yeah, but what in DSA concept of full code? Is it necessary to know complete code of all DSA concepts in technical round?
Hmm.
Okay. So this is a very weird question. If you have like if your concepts are clear
Hmm.
regarding the DSA problem or the topic, I think you should be able to easily code it, and you have to code it. It's not like you'll escape without coding it, because in interviews they will ask you to code the
Hmm.
solution or the logic that you're thinking. So code is definitely required, but obviously if your concept is clear, I don't think coding will take a lot of effort. So
Okay.
code is
All right.
definitely required.
Okay. Thank you so much, Aritri, for joining. And by the way, tomorrow is Women's Day, so in advance, happy Women's Day to you. So
Thank you.
yeah, yeah,
Happy
and
Women's Day to
happy
everybody.
Women's Day to all the women who are watching the stream right now.
Yes,
Salute
yes.
to you all.
From my
Thank you.
side too. Happy Women's Day to everybody, to everyone watching this.
Yeah. And all right, Aditi, that is it for today's live. And there are more questions coming up. And I always tell the audience that whatever more questions are there, they can connect with you. The link is in the YouTube description, video description.
Yeah,
They can send you a
definitely.
request, and I'm sure that you'll help them
Yes,
in
definitely.
whatever capacity you can, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. So many happy women's day are also coming. So I think we accept the wishes in
Okay.
a very grateful way, for sure. All right. All right,
Okay.
Haritri. Some really nice comments from you. Bye, Haritri. Thank you so much for joining. And it was lovely knowing you and lovely talking to you about problem solving, which is very important pieces, no doubt about that.
Bye. Thank you. Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure
All
here
right.
too.
Bye bye. See you.
Bye bye.
Bye. All right, guys. So this is the Code Rita week going on, by the way. So every day, like since last this whole week, we had like to celebrate Women's Day. We had you know live streams with women who are working at strong positions and doing many things. So, anyways, so Code Rita contest भी हो रहा है. So you should check that as well. On Geeks for Geeks, there's a Code Rita contest going on. So उसको लोग register कर सकते हैं शायद आज. तो वो check out कर लेना guys. And I can see comment Nikita sir, I have a question. आदित्य मेंस डे कब है मुझे नहीं पता मेरे भाई गूगल कर ले एंड निकिता व्हाट आई एम सेइंग इज whoever who wants to ask a question from me just in case अक्षय भास्कर लिंक्डइन पे कनेक्शन रिक्वेस्ट भेज देना वहां पे आई कैन हेल्प व्हाटएवर आई सो ऑलराइट दैट्स अबाउट इट गाइस लेट्स we'll do some more sessions every day and please join in as you always do and thank you so much bye bye take care